Here at Riversong Guitars, we use sustainable woods that are 100% domestic, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. Right from the very early days of building guitars, going out and sourcing the woods, I used to go into the resaw mills and say, what have you got that's from Canada? I don't want to see anything else. And of course, resaw mills are always excited to show you exotic woods like Indian rosewood or ebony or something, wood that was found in the bottom of the Panama Canal, stuff like that. But I thought, every builder should build wood from around their backyards, like the guitars. So I use a lot of walnut. This is black walnut, which isn't a actual native species to British Columbia, but it was brought over here 150 years ago as a beautification tree from England. And it's just grown into these massive trees. They cut them down, and they're fantastic. If you look, a lot of them have a lot of character. You can see the figure in it, as well as the grain is just beautiful. I love this stuff. It smells wonderful when you're making it. It's great. Bend's really nice. The thing that's really interesting with walnut is that it's right in between the sound of mahogany and Indian rosewood, is what I found. And it's got gigantic pores that you have to fill. But so the benefit is it sounds great. The negative is that you got to do a lot of work to finish it properly. But it's a wonderful British Columbia wood now. Also, we use wild cherry. So this is what wild cherry looks like. And there's many different degrees of it. And one thing that's really also important to me is that Mother Nature needs to have their touch in this. So every piece of wood is going to be a unique piece. So this is wild cherry. Once it gets sanded and the finish gets onto it, you can really see a lot of the wonderful hues and the colors. And it's a very warm sounding wood and surprisingly flexible. It's super easy to bend. The pores are small on it, so it's really nice to do really super thin finishes on. And it's just a beautiful little wood. We use those on our Trad 1 guitars, Trad 1 Ps. This is Adirondack Spruce. Now, this is not a British Columbia wood, but it is a Canadian wood. And Adirondack Spruce is from the east coast of Canada. You're not going to have to find out exactly how many kilometers away the east coast is, but it's a far ways away. But still in Canada, and it grows up the east coast, and it grows quite fast. And you can see the grains are actually quite wide on it, and long and straight. And one of the things that I like about the grade that we use is this is character grade. You can see this mineral stains that are in here. They look fantastic, but it's also very stiff. If you judge wood, sometimes you look for something that's classically perfect, but it's floppy. For whatever reason, it's not the same. So we always judge by how it feels and how it sounds. And these are really stiff soundboards and sound fantastic. So I love that touch of Mother Nature's hand there. It's beautiful. This is a very favorite of ours. It's Sitka Spruce. Sitka Spruce comes from the other coast. So this was an East Coast wood. This is a West Coast wood. It's very fast growing. It's darker in color. If we put it on top of the Adirondack Spruce, you can see how much darker it actually is. And it's very warm. It's a very warm sounding wood, which is really quite nice. This next one is a very cool little piece of wood. This is Engelmann Spruce. Engelmann Spruce grows in the interior of British Columbia in the Alpine Mountains, and you can see how tight the grains are and how light in color it is, even compared to Sitka Spruce. So Engelmann is known as a very powerful sounding wood because the grain is so tight and so long, and it's high alpine, which means that it grows very slowly. This is just a beautiful sounding tone wood. Very stiff, so we can get it nice and thin and very big and boomy. One of the things that is really cool, and I've talked about this lots, is that Kamloops is an inland desert. It all goes from Nevada all the way up and ends just north of Kamloops in the Skeena Valley. And on either side of us, no matter which direction you go, you get beautiful maples. The other direction, which is east, you get beautiful red cedars, Engelmann spruce. Those two forest ranges, the Engelmann spruce and the Sitka forest range along the coast, combine, and there's a natural hybrid called Lutz Spruce. Now, Lutz Spruce is grown to be pretty popular these last few years. It only comes from one place in the world. And if we look at it, we can see it's got grain structure and silking. It's hard to see on this because it's rough cut, but there's silking going across like an Engelmann Spruce has. So it's big and powerful sounding like Engelmann Spruce, but it's got the coloration of Sitka and the grain structure of Sitka. And it's a natural hybrid. And what's funny is the rumor mill has it. Some of the guitars that you'd get from overseas, you'd get one that sounds really good compared to the other run of them. And it was because this was always considered a C-grade wood. If you're judging it by the criteria of Sitka Spruce or Engelmann, it doesn't fit in either because it's a natural blend of the two. So it's just a really wonderful sounding wood. And this is on all of our Tradition 2 guitars. The 2P, the 2PGA, and it's just a really nice warm sounding wood. I've got a couple exotic pieces here. This one is kind of nice. I call it exotic, but it really comes from British Columbia, 2 hours west of the guitar factory. You can see all of this figure in here, and then the grain line. This is big leaf figured maple, and it comes in a few different ways. You can get it like this. Depending on the tree, you can also get it looking something like this. Now this has like an iridescent look to it. It looks like it's valleys and it looks like it's an inch deep, and I can stick my finger in there, but it's actually flat. And this stuff is beautiful. It sounds wonderful, and it's big leaf flavored, big leaf figured maple. And it's a fun wood to work with. This we call Shellac Wien maple, which is part of the big leaf family. Shellac Wien maple is basically anything that doesn't look like everything else. So essentially, when you buy certain guitars with a flame top on them and the lines are all exactly perfect all the way across, they call that poster grade, and it doesn't really represent what the tree is actually like. So 70% of the tree has really fantastic figuring like this and fantastic looks like this, but because of the grain not going all the way across or being a little bit wavy, it's not considered a poster grade, or they want all their guitars to look the same. But I say, hey, we're building custom guitars here. Every guitar should look unique and be its own beautiful thing. So Shellac Wien maple comes from a little town called Chilliwack in British Columbia. I made up the word. How to spell it? It's spelled so many different ways. I think I have it spelled down here wrong, but that's what we do. Something else that is kind of cool. This is a diseased tree. Can you see that? Bonnie, how's that look? Good? It looks like somebody's laid yarn on this. And when we get finish on that, maybe I should turn it like this. Is that better? Yeah. It is fantastic. This is, we have 2 different types of this. This is Engelmann Spruce or Sitka Spruce, and they get this really crazy bear claw marks on it. It sounds really great, but it looks fantastic. It looks so good. And we also have some of this in torrefied, where we actually send it out and it gets cooked in a kiln. And they do some witchcraftery to it so that it has different properties. You talk to these guys, you never know exactly what's going on, but it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woods. And the torrefication process makes it turn into this really dark color. So let's look at torrefication of maple. So this is a maple fretboard, flame maple fretboard that I love using. This is going to be on our new parlor guitars that are coming out. Flame maple, just beautiful. When you torrefy this, cook it so that the sugars get cooked in it, it turns this color. This is the same wood. And it's just the torrefication process does this. Now, when you sand this wood, it smells like maple sugar. And everybody knows every Canadian goes crazy for maple sugar. Is that the truth? Do you like maple sugar? Yeah. All right. Bonnie says she does. So it smells like it. It just doesn't taste like it at all. The other thing that we really like is this walnut. This is a walnut fretboard. And walnut fretboard is very nice. It's nice and rich looking, and I love it. We've been using this since 2006, walnut fretboards, something like that, 2007. And there's some things you have to do special to make it work, but they're fantastic sounding, and I really enjoy working with it. So one thing, again, is that it's 100% domestic, sustainable woods that we use in all of our regular production model Riversong guitars. You can see behind me just some of the woods that we have, and that's one of the things that makes our guitars different. So if you want to check out a Riversong guitar, go to your nearest Riversong dealer and try it out.